There comes a time in everyone's life when you have to remaster your game. I mean, it's happened in history. It seems to have almost become better than actually thinking up of a new game. And Age of Empires have had that time in their life about 50 billion times. I mean, with Age of Mythology Extended, Age of Empires 2 HD, Age of Empires Definitive, and many more, they seem to be getting a little bit carried away. I'm not saying it's a bad thing though. Age of Empires has always been my favourite franchise. It was the first PC game I ever played, with the original Age of Empires 1, Age of Empires 2 being one of the games that I've played the most. Not just on PC, but even when I was a cool console dude, when I used to play Halo Reach on Xbox 360. Those were the days when you used to get all the girls. Yeah, I'm a cool kid. But the Age of Empires Definitive Edition, when it came out, wasn't too successful. I mean, I think they learned pretty well from their Windows Store exclusives, which is great for AoE 2. I mean, I think this is going to completely improve upon what Age of Empires HD did, but not have the downfalls that Age of Empires Definitive Edition had. But what can we expect? Well, this is going to be a wrap-up of everything we know from Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. First off, 4K Ultra HD graphics. Now, this was pretty much a given. They seem to be doing these definitive editions as well. The definitive edition, they don't really want to be doing anything after it, judging by the name. But it looks like 4K Ultra HD graphics is going to be something that we're going to be getting with all of these definitive editions. Maybe we're going to get Age of Empires 3 definitive down the line, who knows. But it looks absolutely gorgeous. The textures have been completely improved. I don't really think that they messed with the models too much, but everything in it just looks so pleasing to the eye. The color palette is so much more vibrant. It actually feels like you're playing a game that came out last week. It doesn't feel like a game that came out in, what, 1999? Upon this, they also have a new fully remastered soundtrack, and this phrase doesn't really make too much sense. Does it mean there's a new soundtrack, or does it mean a remastered soundtrack? Because they're very different things. Furthermore, we have some new additions to the content, which I think is the thing that most people are going to be wanting to look for, because this really will add and make it worth its price, and we'll get onto that a little bit later, but they are releasing it for a very good price, if I'm going to be completely honest. It has 3 new campaigns that you can get your hands on. They'll be playing through different parts of 1,000 years of history, much like Age of Empires 2 originally. 4 new civilizations will be added in: the Bulgarians, the Cumans, the Lithuanians, and the Tatars. Yes, we will be getting a Kingdom Come Deliverance crossover with the Cumans. I mean, that would be pretty cool, but I don't know how that would work. The Last Khans is the name of the campaigns, though, and I think this is going to be really interesting. We don't really have any information about what they include, whether they are difficult. Boudicca's campaign, or whether they're a pretty easy one. I really hope that they keep that feeling of the old Age of Empires campaigns than an updated version of the campaigns for this day and age, because it was a popular part of Age of Empires 2. I mean, probably not the most popular part, but the campaigns have their special place in a lot of AoE players' hearts. Furthermore, you can still do all the original campaigns, but once again, they have all been remastered fully with new graphics, soundtracks, and completely new audio as well. They also will be adding in, additionally, the best-selling campaigns that you have bought throughout the years, so if you've had them in the past, they will still be remastered in this game. You won't have to buy them all again. I think it all comes as one big package, or at least that is what I'm hoping. It doesn't specifically say it, but the fact that they're using this to sell Age of Empires Definitive 2 means it's probably going to be all in one package rather than having to buy the expansion separately afterwards. But what about streamers? What about recorders? Because Age of Empires, strangely enough, has a lot of people that still cover it in terms of competitive gameplay with streaming and recording. There is a new fully fleshed out spectator mode. There was some stuff that you could do in AoE HD, but it was not as fleshed out as it could be. There's native streaming support, which can be interesting, but now you can spectate multiplayer games in real time and switch between each player's view. You'll have a whole new overlay with the UI, and this will give spectators information and different player statuses, being it a lot easier for people to keep track, and hopefully this will boost the multiplayer community not only casually but also competitively, getting more tournaments in there, especially with the release of it being a whole new game at the start, will completely boost the player base, so hopefully it will expand the esports version of it as well. But that's pretty much everything that's going to be adding in. Let's talk a little bit about the admin stuff. How can you get this, when can you get it, and what will it cost, if not everything? I mean, it will be available on the Xbox Game Pass, which is brilliant. This is a whole new subscription service, which I think is going to completely change how gaming or buying games has worked in the past few years. I think it's $9.99 for the PC version, so you'll get basically, it's not every game, but all the games that are included in the Xbox Game Pass on PC, and this can be all cross-platform support, and yes, this is a cross-platform game. Although I say cross-platform, it's more cross-stores. I mean, you can buy it on the Windows 10 store, which the Definitive Edition didn't go too well, but it will be available on Steam, and if you have it on either Windows 10 or Steam, you can play with each other. It's not going to be just for one or the other. Now, if you want to, there'll be a link in the description to the Age of Empires website. You can sign up to the beta there, and you can get some early news on it, or you can just subscribe to this channel, and you know that, I mean, I'll probably bring some news out on it. But when is it coming out? When can you get your hands on it? Well, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition will be released around fall of 2019. Yeah, it's a bit sooner than we expected. Just towards the end of the summer, going late September into the start of December. It will be a beautiful Christmas present for your nan, who would, to be fair, was probably about a teenager when the original was released. It will cost $19.99 US for new players, but if you own Age of Empires 2 HD Edition, and this is the exciting part, it will only cost you $14.99, so you actually get a decent discount there if you already own Age of Empires 2 HD, which I think is great, and it really shows that they actually do care about the fans, not just remaking this for a cash grab. But it feels like all these definitive editions and remakes that Age of Empires have done, somehow they don't rub me the wrong way, the same way that other remakes do, but maybe that's just because I got done with Age of Empires. All in all, I think this looks absolutely gorgeous. It has the potential to do really well. The only thing that worries me a little bit is it has to improve completely upon the HD edition. It needs to include modding, that is very important, and because it's coming to Steam, hopefully they're going to integrate it into the Steam Workshop. The reason I say this is because when Definitive Edition comes out for Age of Empires 2, Age of Empires 2 HD Edition is probably going to lose all its support. Not just from the players, but I mean from the developers themselves, because they're going to be focused on Definitive. Which means that when this new version of Age of Empires 2 has to come out, it needs to be better than the HD edition, because if it's not, that could break apart the Age of Empires 2 community. But I wonder what is going to come first, Age of Empires 4 or Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition. Either way, I'm really looking forward to what the future can hold, and I will definitely be buying and playing this game on the channel in the future. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more news on Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Go and check out my other videos on stuff like Mount and Blade, Mordhau, and how to cook chicken properly. But until then, guys, I will see you in the next one.